According to the CDC, 6 in 10 Americans suffer from diet-related diseases. Those top 5 are heart disease, breast cancer, prostate cancer, diabetes, and obesity, with cancer on the rise, and obesity being the contributing factor in all major diet-related diseases. I would like to inform you about the SAD diet, the standard American diet, and also my personal struggle with food addiction. So this year in January, I weighed in at 214 pounds, and that's not the first time that the scale had me in the 200 club. But when I was making my New Year's resolutions, I said that this year I wanted it to be different from all of the other years. So I started to do something different. I started to research nutrition, obesity, and disease. And what I discovered is that I, along with many Americans, suffer with something that's called toxic hunger, and that is known as food addiction. So I started learning about nutrition, and I would like to say that this year I have dropped 40 pounds and am still successfully dropping weight, and I couldn't be happier. The SAD diet is causing Americans to become sick and diseased. Not planning for hunger allows us to grab things on the go that are not necessarily the healthiest for us. Eating foods that are high in nutritional value breaks toxic hunger and heals the body. In the words of Joe Cross, as a nation, we truly are fat, sick, and nearly dead. The SAD diet is composed of unhealthy foods that creates toxic hunger. Dr. Joel Fuhrman wrote a book called Eat to Live, and in his book, he wrote that eating foods low in nutritional value creates cravings for toxic foods, and that is called food addiction. According to the documentary Forks Over Knives, 63% of Americans consume their calories from refined processed foods. 63% of the calories that the United States eats is junk food. The sad way of eating is causing America to become one of the sickest nations in the planet. The sad American diet. You've seen these foods. They're high in fat, they're highly processed, they have no real nutritional value, and these foods is what's killing us as a nation. In the 90s, I was a young adult with little time and little money. Processed foods, fast food was cheap. The media was advertising not only these fast foods, there was tons and tons of commercials and ads for foods now, but they were also advertising tons and tons of different diets, fad diets, grapefruit diets, the cabbage soup diet, the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, the Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, all of that. So I would go on these various different diets, lose a little weight, and the cycle would start. I'd lose a little weight, I'd regain a little weight, I would then skip meals so that I could lose weight again, and then I would get hungry and I would binge eat on the toxic foods, eating at times an entire pizza with extra cheese. And this yo-yo dieting from starving to gorging created the cycle of toxic hunger, and that created my food addiction. So that comes from the yo-yo dieting and the eating of toxic foods. If we fail to plan for hunger, we fail to plan for hunger. In the Biblical World periodical of 1919, Reverend Williams is noted as saying, "With everything in life, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail." I would plan to fail because I would wait until I got hungry before I gave any thought to what I was going to eat. A healthy alternative to fast food is meal prepping healthy foods. Meal prepping is where you spend one day grocery shopping, bringing your stuff together, putting things into various containers, putting them in the refrigerator, even cooking certain foods. You can freeze certain foods. And by meal prepping, you do 1 day's worth of work so that you can have 5 days of food that's grab and go. And to me, that's really good fast food. After some success in my weight loss, I decided to do more research. And by doing more research, I started researching doctors that practice responsible medicine. So in other words, not the quacks, but the doctors that have been in the industry peer-reviewed and recommended by even their peers. And some of those doctors, have written books. And my favorite is Dr. John McDougall, The Starch Solution, Dr. Mark Hyman, What the Heck Do I Eat, Dr. Michael Greger, How Not to Die, and my special favorite, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, Eat to Live. Nutritional science says that eating foods high in nutritional value breaks toxic hunger and heals disease. I followed for most of my adult life in low nutritional value diets, like Atkins diet, that allowed me to eat bacon, cheese, and animal protein. I do not recommend this diet, but you can look up the details at www.atkins.com. When I followed that diet, that's what led to inflammation in my body, and I had a lot of pain, and I was on the road to heart attack and diabetes. So this is the top 3 pictures is what I looked like on the Atkins diet, what I looked like in my early 30s. I was over 220 pounds and a very unhealthy person, and I was young. But then in January, when I started to make the changes with just a little bit of walking, I just ended up switching some foods, started slow, did my first book, followed the recipes that went with that book, and I had some success. And then, I'm not a chef in the kitchen, but I have YouTube and I'm not afraid to use it. So I started Googling things like easy vegan quick meals, and it steered me towards salads and smoothies and different teas that I can drink. And then I learned how to stir fry without any oil. And now, 11 months later, I've got a lot of recipes under my belt. Healthy recipes that I can grab and go. So I have a friend, her name is Gloria, she's from Oakland. She also suffered from lots of body pain from inflammation. She knew nothing about nutrition, and she also was one of those victims of the fad yo-yo diets. So she decided to go to mywellnessmethod.com, and it's a wellness clinic located in Danville, California. And in 90 days, it's a 4-month program, but in the 3 months, she's lost 40 pounds. All of her body pain is all but gone. She's learned so much about nutrition. She has a different sleep pattern. She even looks younger. So this is a program I do recommend because it's really working for her. An ounce of action is worth a ton of good intentions. And that's a quote by Michael Josephson. And I believe that means that a little bit of action requires a lot of change. It leads you to a lot of change. So a small ounce of action leads you to a ton of success. I hope that my personal story has made you consider what you eat when hunger strikes. I shared with you the dangers of the SAD diet, that meal prepping is a healthy alternative to have food that you can grab on the go. I explained what is toxic hunger and food addiction and how we can break the cycle and heal ourselves by eating foods that are high in nutritional value. I'm near retirement. I don't want to spend the days I have left sickly and diseased. I want to live vibrantly. I want to be able to travel and enjoy activities with my grandchildren. I did the research, I prepared myself and put myself on the road to wellness, and it's seriously working for me. A proverb of 1670 written by John Ray reads, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and to that I say, the road to health is paved with good ingestions."